We're here today in the Purdue University Small Animal House in our mouse research room where we do all kinds of behavior and well-being research.
Well, the science of animal well-being is the science of asking animals how we ought to look after them in order to obviously improve their well-being, but also to improve, in the case of lab animals, the quality of the science that's done with them.
Mice in laboratory environments are housed at about 60 to 65 degrees Fahrenheit, and but they're actually very comfortable between 80 and 90 degrees Fahrenheit. And so they're kept in very cold conditions for these small animals. It would be very similar to one of us staying in this 65 degree temperature room without any clothes on. So it would be very cold.
So there's several different reasons for wanting to do this kind of research. One is that we just have an obligation to look after the animals which we work with in the best possible way we can, and there's a science behind making those decisions. Another is that in the case of laboratory animals, we want to make sure that the data that we get out of them is the best possible data.
So with the mice being under this constant cold stress, it can affect a lot of the results that scientists get when testing these mice. And so it's very important for the science that we don't get false results.
The issue is that no one temperature is perfect. Every temperature has problems. And in the wild, the way that mice deal with that is that they build a nest. And they change the nest according to what they need, just the same way that you and I, take off a layer of clothing or put that jacket back on. Mice are doing that all of the time with their nests. And so our hypothesis is that by giving them nesting material, we're going to improve their ability to control their body temperature.
So with this experiment, we're giving mice nesting material over 5 weeks and looking at how the nesting material alters their thermoregulatory processes, so how they keep themselves warm, if that changes any when given the nesting material to keep themselves comfortable.
They can build these incredible nests that are like these little woven macrame igloos with all of these different things in them, and that allows them to make a little warm home that protects them from a temperature which would kill a mouse in just a few minutes. That's really cool.
And so we'll be looking at how it changes, how they make heat, how their blood chemistry changes, how behaviorally they change by actually having this material, and just generally how having nesting material alters their behavior in a laboratory environment. One of the tools that we're relying on to see what kind of temperatures mice actually experience when they make a really good nest is an infrared camera. And with the infrared camera, we're able, instead of to see light, we're able to see heat. And by using the camera, we'll be able to determine how hot the mouse can get the nest and how warm they can stay, and just kind of the thermal makeup of the cage in general. In order to measure the results from this experiment, what we've done is we've put little chips inside of the mice's bellies to monitor their body temperature with a computer.
On a day-to-day basis with this machine here, which is actually measuring the animal's temperature in a little radio chip, we expect to see less variability during the day.
Every 5 minutes, the computer will take a sample of their body temperature to allow us to see if, by having nesting material, they actually stay warmer in the times of day when their body temperature drops.
At the end of the experiment, we expect to see changes in the mice in their whole body that will tell us that they've essentially been experiencing less cold stress. It actually really gives us a really deep insight into what it's like to be a mouse, which is, if it was like 500 years in the future, I would love to be on the Starship Enterprise figuring out how to talk to all the really cool aliens you meet and finding out what their life is like. But in fact, right now, there are all of these really cool alien experiences in the world around us. They're in cows and horses and dolphins and mice. And one of the really interesting aspects of this science is, what's it like to be a mouse? What's it like to be an animal that lives in a world of smell, that has a magnetic sense like a pigeon, that talks to each other with smells and also with ultrasound? I mean, they're very unlike us, and it's really, really cool to get a window into that world.